Hey, hello everybody. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and I got a brand new guest for you guys today. I got Big Cheese Thrifts. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. It seems like I run into you almost every day or every week. I run into you in the chat somewhere on YouTube, and I was like, man, we got to link up soon. So go
Yeah.
ahead and introduce yourself to our audience in case they don't know who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and let people know what you do.
So my name's Colby with Big Cheese Thrifts. I do mainly right now just retail arbitrage, Amazon mostly. I do some eBay, some Mercari, some Facebook Marketplace. Just kind of depends on the item. I live in Tennessee. We're here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Tennessee-Georgia line. Yeah, and that's me. I mean, I'm about as exciting as it gets, I guess.
Well, the thing I like about you, your YouTube channel is that you feel like you're authentic. I've watched some of your videos, and you have a full time job that you work as well. So you manage to work your full time job, still find time in your schedule to shoot YouTube videos, and you're still reselling, like you said, on eBay and Amazon. So talk to me a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit how you got into this reselling game, and kind of how you pattern your schedule a little bit.
Okay. So my, oh God, how did I get started? I got bored. So my job, I have a little bit of downtime. If my bosses ever see this, they won't say anything, but and generally when you're on downtime, it's, if everything's done in the store and things that I need to do, just whatever. So I started watching, gosh, who did I start watching? Oh, okay. I don't know if you ever heard of him. His name's Grimes Finds, Justin Grimes. And then I found What the Hales, and then I got really like deep into that. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, this sounds like so much fun. And then I started, you know how eBay, YouTube works. It's like you start one little rabbit hole, then you start picking up everybody. Found Rally Roots and then Harry Tornado, and it went from there. I started thrifting. That was the first thing. Like, I started mainly on eBay, was going to thrift stores just like everybody else does and all that kind of fun stuff. And then it just progressed. And it was actually kind of funny. Like, Rally Roots was the one who kind of started the seed on the Amazon thing. They did a video back during the pandemic time where they were talking about, oh yeah, we sell on Amazon too, and we took all these products and we pop in a box and we send it to them and they do all the stuff. And I was like, what? No, you don't. No, you don't. And then I started doing the research into it, and it was like, what? And then it's kind of funny. I found Super Unsexy. Everybody knows that guy. That guy's amazing. I don't care if you don't like clearance hunting or deal hunting or anything like that. His entertainment value is through the roof, and I love it. And plus, so I was born in Boston. I lived in the North most of my life, most of my childhood. So like, you see a Northerner down in Texas, you're like, yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had What the Hell's on here last year, and yeah, I always run into you in the chats either through the Flippin' Accountants channel or on Harry Tornado's channel on the live streams. I run into you a lot. First thing I wanted to point out, in case you guys in the chat didn't notice, somehow or another we're wearing matching shirts today. What's the odds of that? Like, that wasn't like they're both like he has like words on his shirt, but it like looks like we're wearing the same shirt today. So hey, let me say hello real quick to some people in the chat. We got a bunch of people here. Let's say hello to Harry Helmstone is here. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us today. Wanted to say hey to LKL Graphics. Keith is here. Regina is here. Hey, Regina. She says hello, everybody. Jeff and Keith it's Keith. The Selling Sniper is here. He says hello, Keith, Harry, Jeff, and hello, Big Cheese Thrifts. Hey, man, I saw you the other day with the Yinzers and Primetime Treasure Hunters. So looks like you're getting to be popular now. And I wanted to say hey real quick to Sal's HQ is in the chat. Regina, the Selling Sniper says, I love watching Super Unsexy. I like the Boston accent. So tell me, so where is it? You mind telling people where it is that you work at, like what your day job is?
I'm really easy to find. So if you really want to know, I work in a small business in retail. So, but I am a manager. So, and actually that's my store. So I manage that store. I develop that store. And that's actually the second store under my belt. So I actually have a pretty extensive retail background, just in general. Granted, it translates and it doesn't. You know, there's the psychology. A lot of the psychology does translate. But yeah, I mean, plus I just like. It's funny. My wife always says, you know, you're probably one of the few guys who actually likes to go out shopping. You know. So yeah, so I on average, I don't know, my regular job is generally about 40 hours, 45 hours, maybe even more, maybe even 50. It just kind of depends on the week. Um, you know, and then I've got my reselling business, which I try not, you know, I'll just be fair. I don't, people are very, in this industry, in terms of reselling, they're very like conscientious of their time. And I get that. This is a side hustle for me, so I don't even think about the amount of hours I put into it because, once I start realizing that, I don't want to realize that. You know, I just don't.
Right.
You know, ignorance is bliss. There's a lot of other things that I'm really deep into, but the ignorance of bliss and time is a different thing. But yeah, so I carve out generally, you know, a couple hours each night, maybe an hour each night of prepping and getting everything ready. And then everything gets done depending on the week on how Sunday goes. Generally, everything for my FBA shipments are done on Sunday. So by Monday, when I go outsourcing before I go to work, I will drop everything at UPS and rinse and repeat.
Right. Okay. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about some of your retail arbitrage videos. I caught you on, I think it was on YouTube or Instagram the other day, and you had picked up a bunch of video games you got on clearance. I think it was at Target clearance. And some of these video games, they were new sealed, and they were like PS4 video games, things like that. And they were like, some of them were marked down to like $5.99 each. So talk to me a little bit about what kind of profit margins are you looking at? And are you going to send them into Amazon FBA? And do you look at like sales rate? Talk to us a little bit about that, because sometimes I get messages from people and they're like, hey, I can't find anything I'm doing retail arbitrage to flip and resell. Because sometimes, you know how it is. You go into Walmart or Target and the shelves are just empty. You know, you go to the clearance section and the stuff's already been picked over.
Yeah. So this is kind of one of those where my ability to use my downtime comes into play when I'm at work. I watch a lot of other people's videos. The Target clearance kind of was a little bit of my find to begin with. I don't like Target, and that's really funny because I've been in Target more in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks than I've been in Target in a long time for retail arbitrage. Target is hard to deal with in terms of trying to find prices. Like I'm sure everybody watches Richie Hustles, and shout out to Richie because he's a great motivator for me and me. You know, we exchange deals and so on and so forth. But yeah, I was just in Target. I was like, I'm going to go check out Target. You know, the last little round of clearance that kind of ended. Just want to see if there was anything there. And then I started noticing like there's a lot of yellow tags. And I was just looking. I was like, there's no, there's no way. And then I started scanning stuff and I was like, it's coming up cheaper than the yellow tags were even showing. Just to be fair, it was happenstance. I got lucky. That happens. There's sometimes not enough research out there that will get you lucky. Sometimes you just happenstance into things. Target, our targets, I have 2. That's it. Like I see Richie's videos and he's like, I've got 14 targets around me. I got another buddy of mine that I talked to on Instagram, and he's like, yeah, I've got like 8 targets around me. I'm like, bro, I've got 2, and then the next one after that is like 30 minutes north. So like,
Right.
I got slim pickings because my time. That's the thing. I do consider myself part time because I obviously, this is not what I do for my revenue stream. And so I'm limited. I'm out my door. I'm generally in my first store by 7 a.m. Generally, might be a little bit later, might be a little bit earlier, but generally 7 a.m. I have from 7 a.m. until usually about 9:45 until that's my window. So 2 hours and 45 minutes to mad dash for cash. And so I've got to kind of be selective and I got to kind of do my research, but I took a chance on Target and that's where I ended up. And I started just scanning stuff, and it just went from there. And I will not share things. I don't care what any person out here tells you. And I'm just going to be very transparent and very forward about this. I don't show everything. And I'm not the only one. Just to be fair. I show most of the stuff, but there's certain stuff that I have to keep for replenishables. There's certain things that I don't show because that's what allows me to go out and be a little bit more free with what I can buy, and even at small margins,
Right.
there's some stuff I'm only making, $4 or $5, but if I've got a bunch of it, it's a volume game at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask you. So let's say you come across some video games at Target, and some of them are $5.99, $10.99, or whatever it is, and you buy them and you go home, you prep them, and you send them into Amazon. How much profit are you making on some of these items? Because you have to subtract the Amazon fees, storage fees, pick and pack fees, and all of that. So how much profit are you making on average on some of these? Just as an illustration, like when I saw you at Target and you picked up those Funko Pops, and then you picked up some video games. What kind of profit margins did you have on those items that you picked up, do you think?
Well, I will actually show you because everybody's been seeing. This is one of the games that went on sale, Spyro for PS4. So right now,
I'm going to put you on full screen. Go ahead.
Okay, so we got Spyro, and please ignore all the crap to the side. Spyro for PS4. And so this was $5.96. There's 5% off because I use my red card. So you're looking, we'll just be cute about it. We'll say $6.50 because that sounds about right. And granted, you have to understand that this is where it's sitting at Amazon right now. So this will change. But I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but that's $14.36 in pure profit. Well,
yeah. Can you move the camera down a little bit? Move your phone down a little bit so we can see it. Right, yeah. right there. Right there we go. So we can see, as you guys can see on the screen. So Amazon fulfilled. It says that the price new is selling for $29.83. So that's $30. Amazon fees is $9, and then it says you have to put your cost of purchase in, which was $6.50. And then his estimated profit is $14.36. So after you pay your fees and expenses, even though the item might sell for $30, by the time you pay, all your fees and everything, you'd probably net about $14 in profit, right?
Right. And you have to understand when I'm shipping stuff in, I'm not shipping 4 or 5. I'm shipping on average 100 units roughly. My last shipment was about 90. But so here's the thing. When you're doing that, that means so because I live in Tennessee, my shipments go 2 places. They either go to, right now it's Charlotte, which is interesting because that's changed, or it went to Memphis. My shipping costs they're pretty low. Generally 100 units might cost me, I don't know, maybe $40 at max. And that's at max. So 100 units, that's 40 cents per unit in shipping costs. So you take that 40 cents out, I'm still easily into 14. But see, I'm about 4 deep. 4 deep.
Right. I see that. That's what I say is if you're out there and you're doing retail arbitrage, instead of getting 5 or 10 different SKUs, if you just got like 5 or 10 of one SKU. So when you go down to sit in and put it in the computer system and to send it in, you only have to put like quantity of 4 in the computer system and then say, okay, I've got Spiral the Dragon, quantity of 4. So let's say you only made $14 on that one video game. Well, you got 4 copies of that game. So that's almost what, $28, almost $30 in profit. Something like that. It's a rough estimate. So you have some advice that you can give people because you're a store manager. So do you have advice you can help them out with? They're doing retail arbitrage or they're hunting for deals? Because when I was watching your video, you're like looking at some of these clearance tags and you're like, some of these prices aren't what they need to be. Even though you don't work at that Walmart, you just like kind of know instinctively because a lot of these items have a shelf life. They're supposed to be on the shelf for a certain amount of time, and after a certain amount of time, they'll mark things down. And also, you find a lot of clearance item deals. I see you scanning tags and scanning barcodes, and you get stuff for cheaper than what it actually says on the tag.
Right. So, excuse me one second. I'll take a drink. Now, Walmart's, on the other hand, I have like 9 of them. And there's easily 4 or 5 that I can get to in less than 10 minutes. And so when you're seeing 3 of them all within, a day, and you're seeing 2 of them are like, like you got, let's say, one of these games was, I don't know, was $10 at 2 of them, but then that third one is, $2. That means that generally in our area, they're all going to get down to about $2. That's if they last, obviously, because the thing that most people don't realize, you're not working against, you are working against other resellers in your area, but you're also working against the common person who's walking in and says, oh, my grandson or my daughter wanted this and it's on clearance and that's $6 or $7 off and that's a deal. So I'll just buy it. I don't care. Whereas we're trying to do the job of, okay, is $6 or $7 worth the, are you maximizing your profits when you know that you were just down the road and you got it for $2? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things like, do you grab it or do you leave it and hope that it stays there? Video games a little bit of a weird one, especially in Walmart because they keep them behind the case. And generally the same thing with Target. The only time I've seen Target out like regular games that are decently priced out of the case is when they're putting them in those security lock gem cases that they're, and then you have to take it up there. So it's just about repetition. If you're doing it over and over and over again, if you're seeing that, in multiple stores, this one item is going X amount low and, but it's almost double the lowest price or triple the lowest price in, from down the road, that's kind of that just knowledge base of just doing it over and over and over again. You were asking about like, what was the other question? I got that one.
Yeah, I was asking you advice to help people when they're out looking for retail arbitrage because a lot of the times they'll go through there. Let's say you're at Walmart or Target or some of these places, and you get to the clearance section. A lot of times the stuff looks like it's been picked through already. So can you kind of give us advice? And I know you were using the Walmart app or to scan the barcodes, and now we're having issues with that. So kind of drop some knowledge because what I've been doing is I just go to that big checkout pole, the big pole with the little price checking thing mounted on it. So sometimes I'll just use that and then I'll start scanning barcodes when I'm there. But it's hit and miss, man. Sometimes you get in there and you score, and sometimes you just don't find anything,
So, generally, like Walmart clearance happens in waves and in sections. So like a lot of times if you're finding, like, let's say, trying to think of a good example, you find the retro Marvel figures that have started coming out here recently. If you're finding like 2 of the characters, because they're all a wave, they share a common identifier in the UPC code. But if you're finding like 2 of them in the wave are discounted, and then you go to the toy section and there's like other figures that are, similar in the same wave or in the same general category, scan those because a lot of times that whole rabbit hole is all together. They're discounting all of them. Doesn't always happen. It's not tried and true. But that's one way. I do a lot of research. I have different Instagrams I follow. I have different people that I watch. I mean, like I said, full transparency. A lot of resellers just pick up what they're seeing other resellers pick up. I mean, it's just fact of the matter. Don't be disillusioned. But I also use the stuff that I see on Instagram and other places to also look at common products. If you're noticing, another one that's unfortunately we're kind of getting screwed on over on Amazon is the Godzilla toys. One went on sale, and then like 3 days later, the rest of the set of SKUs went on sale. And it's just, and then other stuff in the toy aisle started going on sale. It's cascading. And that's how Walmart works. Like I said, Target's a little newer for me because I don't really go heavy in the Target. And, Target's, I'm still figuring this one out. It's a little weird. It just seems like, again, sections and waves. But, last week there was only like 3 or 4 things that were on sale. And then this past week, it was like half the toy section was on sale. And it's like, what the crap?
Yeah, it changes, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Let me say hello real quick to a few people in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Roman is in the chat. Anytime Picker says, I was at Walmart today. Nothing was discounted, not even in the clearance section. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Sometimes you hit and miss. I wanted to give a shout out here to TJ Lovely. I just wanted to say, hey, I follow your channel. I subscribe to your channel. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. I wanted to say hey to Kevin Vasquez Reyes is here. He has a quick question. He wants to know, what is your biggest flip in terms of profit? I mean, you sell both on eBay and Amazon and other platforms as well, not just on Amazon. So they wanted to know, what is your biggest flip that you've had in terms of profit lately, or that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh. Okay, so I bought this was back. Yeah, this was probably back last year, right before Christmas. Me and my wife were up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and we went to the Vera Bradley store. And this is when I first was kind of dabbling into retail arbitrage. And I'm a guy, so like the Vera Bradley store for me is like, please hurry up as humanly quick as possible. I'll entertain her with it, but it's like at the same time, like, let's not, and I'm sure she feels the same way when we go into the nerdy stores. But anyway, I bought a bunch of Vera Bradley blankets. I ended up stacking coupon with it. I've got those blankets for like, I think they were like $15 a piece. I bought probably, I don't know, about $150, maybe $200 worth. I flipped them for easily quadruple profit during Christmas. That's one of the bigger ones I can remember off the top of my head. Let's see. Back when I first started thrifting, I found a Sonos bridge. It's for audio, excuse me, like audio thing for the Sonos brand. I paid 50 cents for it, sold it for 55. I mean, it just depends because I go through so much stuff. I really do. Recently I sold a bunch of Adidas shoes that I got at Ross for $20 a piece. I've sold out of every single one. They all sold for $120 each. It's probably 12 or 13 units. I mean, it wasn't a huge amount, but it was a lot of profit.
Right.
It just kind of depends.
Okay, cool. We have a question here from the Selling Sniper. He wants to know, how long have you been selling on Amazon? And what is your favorite category to sell in? It says, I love selling in many categories, love finding $1 and $2 books that sell for $50 to $100 plus, low cost of goods, high profits.
Okay. My favorite category. My favorite category is money. No. Honestly, I really like toys. Toys is fun because I'm a big giant kid. I guess you could say, I love toys. That's my buddy Snoopy over this way. And I love toys. I love anything to do with video games, nerdy stuff. And I get it. because most people are like, oh, of course you like that stuff. That's the high profit stuff. It's like, actually, no, it's not. And I'll tell you, a lot of times video games are not high profit. Rare cases, not rare cases. There's a good amount of cases, but
there's a ton of video games that just aren't worth crap. I mean, I sold a PS2 video game today on eBay, $10. Like it was, I've been like, sometimes I'm just happy to move inventory to get it out of my space because you have a limited amount of space. So it's like, oh, $10 video game. But I mean, I probably had maybe 50 cents or something tied up in it. But I'm just using that as an illustration is that not all video games are really high ticket items. Some of them, especially if they're old games, they're not that profitable. So talk to me a little bit. When you're out here sourcing for inventory, how do you decide what you want to sell on eBay and what you want to put on Amazon?
So it depends on all right, let's go down this rabbit hole. There's a bunch of tools out there that you can use to look up companies that are generally a little overly grievous with the IP complaints. And for people who don't know what IP complaints are, it's basically when a company or even Amazon can do it themselves, basically says, no, you can't sell that. You need to show where you bought the item from. And generally sometimes they'll take receipts. It depends on what kind of IP complaint there is, because there are multiples. And sometimes they won't. And sometimes they want a wholesale thing. And if you can't prove that, or you can't get the company to retract it by saying, please, I won't sell this no more. But if I know that there's a high profitable item, I may flip it on eBay, yeah, it's kind of like Vero on eBay, Anytime Picker. Exactly. It's just a little bit more, I don't know. People have a very skewed, or not very skewed, but they have very different opinions on IP complaints. Take Richie, for example. He doesn't care. Some people are like, oh my God, an IP complaint, mind's blown. What do I do? Call the fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just kind of, if it comes up, it comes up. I know how to deal with it. I know how to it's remain calm. The sky's not falling. Unless you get that, hey, we're probably going to deactivate your account kind of situation. Yeah, that's when the sky's falling and you need to look into options to get that fixed. But it's remain calm. There's ways to fix it. We have all Google machines. Use your Googler and you can Google up how to fix it. Because a lot of times it's really easy. You just send a nice little worded dibbly-do and then they leave you alone. And you retract all your listings and get back your stuff or get it destroyed.
All right.
And that's the thing, Anytime Picker, they don't restrict your account, but you could get 2 IP complaints and they'll shut your account down. I've heard of people getting 1 and they shut your account down. You're an Amazon sandbox and you're playing by their rules and they can do whatever they want. And it sucks. But if you tread lightly, you get your match. See, I think what a lot of people, what happens is you get a lot of people who are new on eBay or on Amazon, and they're trying to go for stuff that unfortunately maybe they didn't know or they had no experience in dealing with, these companies that are high IP complaint, out there. And so, you maybe have $500 or $600 under your belt, but that one IP complaint is for an unauthentic profit or product. And they're like, well, you're new at this and you're already doing this. Done. And it happens and it sucks.
Right. I just wanted to say, hey, real quick to a few people in the chat. We were just talking about the flipping accountant. He just stopped by to show support. He said, smash the thumbs up button for my buddy Cheese. So for sure. It's funny. It's like I run into Big Cheese Thrifts almost every week in the chats. I wanted to say hey to TJ. I wanted to say hey to Roman. I wanted to say hey to Kevin Vasquez Reyes. Says, how are you prepping for Q4, especially for Amazon? Do you do anything different for Q4 or no?
Yeah. So we're getting into that point where, I've been stockpiling, probably like a lot of people. As That's all I do. I've got stuff that I've been kind of stashing probably from about 2 or 3 months ago. This closet looks terrible, really bad. But I'm getting to that point now where I'm going to start sending it in. I was going to wait until I was talking with some people and they're like, well, beginning of October, mid-October is a good time. You're right before November, but things are crazy right now. And this isn't just going to affect me. This is going to affect every single person who resells and ships. There are people calling out. There are people getting sick, unfortunately. There are people that are not working. There are people that are just, not doing their jobs to the full extent. And that's causing shipping delays. And if it's starting already now and we're only beginning into September or October the next few days, it's going to get bad.
Yeah.
So I'm buying up whatever I can find and just, setting my prices properly and riding the wave. It's going to be a crazy Q4. And to be very fair with you, there's a lot of people that I've been talking to that are like, we don't know what's going to happen. The year before was a landmark year because of all the, you got this year where we're going into a little bit more of an open space, but now we're hearing about all this stuff that's stuck in ports, shipping issues, this, that, and the other. Nobody knows. We're all just sitting here like,
well, when you're reselling, a whole lot of this business is about supply and demand. So where we're going into Q4, let's say like that Spiral the Dragon game you were showing earlier, if it's out of stock at Walmart and people can't find it, maybe instead of you selling it for $25, $30, maybe you might be able to get a little bit higher asking price for that same item because it's about the supply and the demand. If the demand is here, and let's say Christmas is around the corner and they can't find a readily supply of that item and you have it in stock, you might be able to charge a little bit more money for it. But I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit about Amazon. Most of my subscribers are eBay sellers, but I feel like I was watching this statistic the other day, and it was showing about market share, right, on e-commerce. And eBay was at like 4% market share. So if you guys don't know what market share means, that means every time a customer reaches in their pocket and they pull out a $100 bill to buy something on e-commerce, like $4 of it is being spent on the Amazon or eBay platform. Amazon, I think, was at like 41% on that bracket. So when you guys are looking at it, you're sitting here and you're checking it out, and you're like, okay, well, there's a 10 times higher market share of dollars being spent on this platform. And I know you use Keepa, and I think you have other tools that help you make money on Amazon. So I wanted to touch on that real quick. And you also do use BrickSeek. Can you give us the 411 about that? Tell us a little bit about that and what we need to use, what type of tools or equipment or what we need to get started selling on Amazon.
Sure. Just real quick. Hi, TJ. Hi, Justin. Just real quick. So TJ actually lives in my town. So
really?
Yeah, he's my competition. I like to give him a little bit of ribbon every time that he pops into when I'm live on something. Like, what's up, competition? So hi, TJ. Yeah. He's a great dude.
Have you got a chance to meet up with him in person yet?
Okay, so this is a funny story. So apparently I was scanning one day in Walmart. This was many moons ago. And TJ apparently saw me and decided that he didn't want to come say hello. And he was like, yeah, man, I saw you, but I didn't come say hello because you were in the zone. So I haven't gotten to meet him face to face, but apparently he's stalking me. So,
well, pretty soon now, you just hit 350 subscribers. So pretty soon, you're going to go out in public and people are going to start recognizing you, man. I can't wait for that. Once you hit like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, like Richie Hustles, you're going to be out here at Walmart, Target, clearance, and people are going to start coming up to you. We're like, hey, are you Big Cheese Thrifts? Like they're going to recognize you, man. You're going to have merch and everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's, that'll be cool. I'll tell you this. I threw the Kit Kat. Oh, wow. Thanks, Justin. So I know that everybody says that like they want to be monetized and this is another revenue stream. And yes, I do very much look at it that way to a degree, but I also it's fun. It's making videos is fun and it's documenting and I can be like, yo, look, your granddad was on the YouTubes for, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's a cool legacy in the back of my mind. It's like I don't just, yes, I do view it for the money aspect of it. Of course, who does? You don't make videos for free, folks. I don't care what anybody says. But it's also, it's fun. It's a good thing, and it's a neat process. Richie was the one who started pushed me to do it. He pushed me on a live. He was like, go buy a GoPro, go make videos, do it. And then he did it in front of my wife, and my wife's like, yeah, go do it. And I'm like, all right, cool, I can do it. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
But it's I don't know. When it happens, it'll be cool, and I definitely will have a video. I did have somebody the other day was like, "Are you a YouTuber?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." I'm like, "It's Big Cheese Thrifts. Go subscribe." Blah blah blah. He was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah." He didn't ask me anything about what I did. He was just like, "Are you a YouTuber?" Like, that's immediately just. It was funny to me. It's because this is very new to me. This is very new to me in terms of doing the YouTube thing and putting myself out there and, really kind of cracking that egg. And, oh geez, it's just an interesting thing. The things you notice as you're doing it, the things that the mentality people put towards it.
You're going to get better at it the more you do it. And I'm telling you, man, once you cross that 1,000 subscriber threshold, it's like the YouTube algorithm will pick up on you, and then all of a sudden all these extra subscribers will come in droves. Like, you could ask Justin, the flipping accountant. It just seems like 6 months ago or something, it seems like he was at 1,000 subscribers, and now he jumped up to like 20,000. And he says, "Can I have your autograph, Big Cheese?" I think he's one of your big fans. So you just keep doing what you're doing, bro. And like I said, I see people that stop by, and you'll get 5,000, 10,000 people that will tune in to check out some of your retail arbitrage deals. So anyways, talk to us a little bit about your retail arbitrage. And we were talking about Amazon. Do you use Brickseek? Tell me a little bit about Keepa, because I saw you commented on somebody's YouTube channel the other day, and you were saying, like, if you're serious about Amazon, you need to have Keepa, you need to have these certain items. So go ahead and preach. Tell us stuff that we need to get moving to make money on Amazon. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay. So just two things real quick. Yes, I am. While me and TJ may call each other competition, he's my neighbor. Like, if not neighbor literally, but we live in the same town. So that's I love people like that. People that you can connect with. And Justin is, man, what can I say about Justin? He's an awesome dude. And I really appreciate all the questions that he'll answer for me. And yes, you can have my autograph, but you got to come up here, because he doesn't live far from me either. You need to come up here and come get it. Okay. But now let's go into the Keepa, and listen. You could spend money on repricers, on this, that, and the other. But Keepa is literally, in my opinion, the number one tool that, if you're at all serious about Amazon, to buy, to use. It's $15 a month. It's not that much. It's such a little amount. And it will make you so much money. And I am a big proponent of not spending money on stuff that in my mind doesn't make any sense, because I'm like, Keepa doesn't make any sense. And then I started looking at what it does, and I'm like, Keepa makes a lot of sense. I use Inventory Lab. Now, I don't use Inventory Lab to send my shipments, which is silly, because that's what you pretty much use it for, that you pay $50 a month for. But actually, I use a lot of time for estimation of profits and things like that, where you can see where the buy box actually is in real time. There's a lot of other stuff that I use it for, which is for Scoutify. Because when you get Inventory Lab, you get Scoutify, you get a bunch of other stuff. But I literally just use it for Scoutify, and at the end of the year, for my taxes, because I still can't figure out how to pull the stupid tax report off of Seller Central, and it blows my mind every time I try to do it. But Keepa makes it easy, or Inventory Lab makes it easy. What else do I use? I do not pay for Brickseek. Brickseek is a great tool. but I do my research in other ways. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm using Instagram, I'm following other people. I don't know. I have very mixed feelings on BrickSeek in terms of paying for it. I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, the bricks. I can't talk. BrickSeek Extreme is the best thing that you could ever invest in," and so on and so forth. And while for some people it may be, and I will agree, but I have found that like I did it for a month. I did try it, just to be fair. You know, I tried it for a month because you can't say something doesn't work for you if you don't try it. And it wasn't really that big of a deal. Like I wasn't really finding that much more than what I would normally do. And I felt like I was actually spending more time on it trying to find stuff. I did find one or two things that probably did pay after profits pay for the month, but it just said there would be like these, huge extremes of just not finding anything and then finding a bunch of stuff and then not finding anything and then not finding anything. And then like right before my month was up, I found a few more things. I was like, okay, this is great. That's so inconsistent for me. Like, my time is super precious. I don't have all day to be in these stores. I don't have from sun up to sundown. I do have one day that I do that, which is on Thursdays, which will be tomorrow. And I will get up at 6 a.m. out the door, and I'll stop about 4 or 5 when my wife gets off and call it a day. I don't know. I just have never done well with BrickSeek. I will use BrickSeek to find stuff, but you can get that with the free version. Like I said, I live in a place where the saturation is not as deep. Like Richie, for example, he lives in Florida. You can sneeze and hit 7 Walmarts. That makes sense. He's got so much potential in that area. There's no way that you can't not use BrickSeek. But like for me, there's just not enough saturation in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, and there could be somebody who watches this and said, "Oh, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't listen to him. He's nuts." Well, maybe I am, but I know what I've tried, and I know what works and what doesn't work. For me, that's for me. For you, but BrickSeek may be the best investment, and it is a good investment in some cases. It does give you access to deals when you buy the Extreme. The Extreme, you're the first one to get the stuff that's dropping. You're getting all the information. You're able to see which stores it's in, all this kinds of stuff. For me, it's like, okay.
The flipping accountant says, "Can you teach me how to find good clearance? Says I hear that you make good money on that stuff." So, do you have any advice or tips or tricks that you can help people when they're out doing RA and they're looking for items to resell? Could you kind of take us behind the curtain, because you're a manager at a retail store? So, could you kind of help us out with finding these particular items? And Black Friday's coming up soon, and so if you guys are like me and you're ready to weather the crowds and go out and hunt for deals, there's going to be a lot of deals out there you guys can find coming up for Black Friday. I went out there and was picking up, video games and all type of stuff on clearance last year for Black Friday. So talk to me a little bit about that, and if you have any other tips or tricks or advice to help people find merchandise.
Scan it. I know that sounds terrible. It's a lot of it. 80% of the time, like, yes, I do my research, obviously, and then I go look. But a lot of it, I just walk through the store. Walk the store. Understand your Walmarts. Understand your routes. It's market research. You want to look at it the fancy way. It's called market research. Research your market. Find what works. Find what doesn't work. Find where the good stores are and find where the crappy stores are. There are some stores that I will not go all the way out to. TJ, he lives by a couple ones that I won't go to because I know that's easier for him and it's gas money for me, because then I have to weigh that too. Gas ain't free, folks. Time ain't free. Time is money. Gas is money. So if I have to drive 35, 40 minutes out for 2 items, I'm not going to do that. Now, there may be other stuff there, but at the same time, there's no allure to go to that store. There's no allure to drive all that much further. But yeah, I just walk stores. I also source at Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Burlington, and half the time there's no way to check those. Half the time you just got to walk them. You got to find them. You just got to look and see what's there.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you about that. Kevin Vasquez Reyes says, "Do you sell shoes on Amazon? And you also sell shoes on eBay as well." So when you're at some of these places, you hit up Ross or Marshalls. I've seen a lot of people that will go, for example, let's say they'll go to Ross and they'll find shoes like this for $20, and they'll be new in the plastic or whatever. They'll turn around and sell them for $80, $100, 150 on eBay. Because on eBay, if you sell athletic shoes for over $100 and you don't have to pay all the fees, correct?
Correct. $100 exactly. 99.99 will get you fees. Trust me, I've learned that one hard. But yeah, anything over $100 exactly will. Yeah, I saw those shoes. I was like, oh, I know what those are.
I just use it as an illustration.
I was like, yeah, those are good ones. But I also, when it comes to Ross and Marshalls and stuff like that, a lot of that for me is just like, oh my gosh, because I watch them all the time. Hustlin' Hooks. No, not Hustlin' Hooks. Wrong one. Hustler Hacks. Glenn out there in Texas. Oh man, like I've learned so much from him and the B and those guys because I saw somebody going to, well, it was probably Richie. I probably saw Richie going to Marshalls and I was like, what? What? And then I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I see the value in this. And then I started trying it for myself. And then I found those two guys and I started watching them. And then they're deep in the shoe game. Like they're really deep in the shoe game. They're getting all the hot drops on the sneaker app, stalking Adidas, getting the raffle drops, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. And I just picked up tips from that. I mean, look, if you think it looks weird and it looks unique, pick it up, scan it, see if it works. Because that's how I find a lot of stupid stuff. Like I found a pair of Nikes one time that were like $20 and I sold them for 115. I was like, what? This makes no sense. And they just, I don't remember even what they were. They were, I think, like one of the KDs or something like that. They were just a weird shoe.
Yeah.
And I was like, this was that easy. And I mean, literally, Nikes have the style code in them. There's plenty of guides out there and plenty of people who go through and teach you where the style codes are on the tongue. And you can just plop that into eBay half the time or StockX or Go. And, boom, it may work, it may not. I did just recently within the last 3 or 4 months get ungated in Nike and Adidas. And before you ask, it's called invoices. I'm just going to be nice about this. I'm not going to tell you. I love y'all, but it's really easy to do. It really is. People just make it harder than it needs to be. There's plenty of wholesalers out there that will sell you to ungate you. But, and once that world opened up, that's a mind-blowing thing. But then I'm also at a disadvantage there. There's a lot of people who have, 6 or 7 different Nike outlets or Rosses or TJ Maxxes. I have 2 that don't rip the stupid tops off their boxes at Marshalls. And that's it. And so if I milk one store, the other store may not have anything or vice versa. Or if I milk both of them, I'm out of inventory in that. And then I have to pivot and go back to, other places for RA.
Hey, go ahead. I wanted to ask you a question. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to, but I'm just curious. Earlier, you said that you'll send in a whole box into Amazon and it'll be like 100 items in this box. What would you guess? I know it varies from week to week or month to month, but let's say I have a big box of inventory like you have, and I send in 100 items into Amazon. What would you guess or project your profit margin is on that box of 100 items? It's, whether it's Funko Pops or video games, like what kind of profit margins do you typically get? And how much would you say you have make profit in one of these boxes? Because if somebody isn't selling on Amazon or they're kind of on the fence, I just wanted to kind of give them, a little bit of knowledge of what, why we should even get started on Amazon and what kind of profits you can make there, because the sales velocity is a lot higher than eBay.
Let's see. On average, I should be. It depends. Because it can fluctuate so much. There's times where every single item in that box is only running, 30 to 40% ROI. And you have to also understand too, while I may ship it out at 40 or 50% ROI, by the time it hits by the time it hits Amazon and is available for sale, I may have lost 5% ROI. That does happen. I've had it happen. Unfortunately, I've had it happen a few different times, and I had an item I went pretty deep in. I had about 15 of them, and they were expensive, and I was sitting at 100% ROI. By the time they made it to Amazon, to the prep center, or not the prep center, excuse me, the fulfillment center, I had lost 50% ROI. It was literally 3 days.
Well, I mean, it varies. Like earlier, you're talking about that Spiral the Dragon video game, and you're looking at $14 profit. So if you say, let's say for that one thing as illustration, $14 profit times, let's say 100 items that you sent in, that would be like $1,400 that you could potentially make profit on that one shipment. So that's what I was trying to just give, because I know it's going to vary depending on the products and the SKU and the item. I was just trying to give people an illustration, because there's a lot of people that work 40, 50 hours a week and they don't make $1,400 a week at their job. They don't. So to them, if they were like, hey, I heard Big Cheese Thrifts was telling me I can make money reselling on Amazon, I don't even make $1,400, $1,500 a week at my job, and that's busting my tail working 40, 50 hours a week. So that's why I'm bringing that up. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just trying to get ballpark figures, you know. Yeah. So what is your goals in the future? Are you going to try to remain a store manager, or are you going to go full-time reselling in the future? Have you kind of thought about that, or what's your goals in the future?
So, that's hard. I have kind of a cush job. Not that I don't work hard at it. It's just that it's kind of an easy job. I get paid fairly well for what I do. And I work for people who are small business owners who understand that I'm a person, and so is everybody else in my organization. And so that's hard. That's a hard leave. When you're being able to pay your bills, having extra money left over, and then actually being valued as an employee, it's a hard leave. I would like to leave eventually. It's hard because there's a little voice in the back of my head saying, just take the jump, just do it, quit your job, take the jump, work really hard, you know, and just hustle your brains out. At the same time, I have a mortgage and I have things that have to be paid for. My wife is in school. You know, there's things that are like, I kind of want to, you know, be able to pay down a little bit before I make any really big life-changing decisions. And my wife is almost done with school. We'd like to get over that hurdle as well. I would dare say 4 to 5 years, I'd like to be, you know, full-time, not working my regular job. It could happen quicker than that. My dream is a big old freaking warehouse with employees and owning my, you know, owning an empire, you know, building that empire and owning that. You know, you see these guys that I follow on Amazon, like or Amazon, Instagram, you know, like Amazon Lit and these guys who have just massive just inventory warehouses, and it's impressive, and it's something that I work for. You know, and that's where I'd like to be. So, you know, maybe I could hire TJ. He can come work for me.
Oh, I'm sure that's an option. But yeah, Amazon Lit's a nice guy. I was just hanging out with him last weekend on Friday in Orlando. So yeah, it's definitely nice to meet up with other resellers. And I think eventually you're going to get there. You know, it's just going to be one step at a time. And I definitely understand having, you know, if you have a good job that you like, and you don't hate getting up and going to work on Monday morning, and you have a stable paycheck coming in every week, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And then, you know, you can still do reselling on the side. There's hundreds of thousands of people that do that and make a really good living just reselling on the side while still holding down their full-time job. And especially if you have goals of maybe getting your car paid off, or paying off your house, or maybe paying off some student loans or credit card bills. I mean, you know, there's no, you know, you might as well go for it. So I wanted to get in real quick into your YouTube channel. We didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot. Tell people a little bit about your YouTube channel. You do a lot of RA. You said you talked a little about hitting up Ross and Marshalls. You hit up Target. You hit up Walmart. Your channel kind of reminds me a lot of Richie Hustles and the Flipping Accountant and some of those guys. So if you like those type of videos, you definitely should go check Big Cheese out and go subscribe.
Oh yeah. Yes. Please, and thank you. Please and thank you. Oh yeah. TJ was talking about where he works, and like, yeah, I understand that 100%. So yeah, I definitely, I mean, very similar style videos. I mean, I'm not, and that sounds so copycatish, but I'm definitely trying to do some, mix it up a little bit and change some, try and put my own spin on it, have fun with it, whatever. Let's be very fair. It's when you're dealing with filming RA, it's pretty cookie cutter. You're going to walk into a store. I'm going to show you some cool stuff. I'm going to show you where I'm getting it, what I'm getting it at, talk a little bit about the profit and stuff like that, and then move on to the next product. YouTube has been a very big learning curve for me, because like when I started, I'm a long-winded person and I really try and cut that down. My wife will attest. She's like, "You're a long-winded person. Stop." So I really try and like I have to mentally keep telling myself that. Thank you, ATL Flipper. I much appreciate it, buddy. I have to remind myself of that. So I have to remind myself that a lot of people have a little bit shorter of attention spans than I do. And so I got to get to it. And so that's one of the big things I've been really kind of working on. It's also kind of hard because the computer that I have to edit on is also the computer my wife uses. And so we're working on getting another one right now. So I can have a little bit more time. I'm a little bit behind. I mean, it's tough. Like I said,
you're gonna do just fine.
Yeah,
I'm with you, bro. You're gonna do just fine, because I mean, I still work my full-time job. I crank out 4 or 5 videos a week on YouTube. I'm out here hustling, doing reselling, so I can do it. You can do it. You're gonna do just fine. Like I said, just keep hustling, and once you get over that 1,000 subscriber threshold, and it's like once you cross that threshold, somehow YouTube is gonna pick you up your stuff, and it's going to take off. I promise you it will, bro, if you just keep doing what you're doing. So we've been live streaming for about an hour, man. Tell everybody where they can go by and check you out at on YouTube and Instagram. I have all your links in the description, but tell them where you can go by and check you out at.
Yeah, it's Big Cheese Thrifts on Instagram, YouTube. Just come holler at me. Come hang out. Hopefully going to be doing some lives here soon. Come hang out. I'm a good person. If you have questions, reach out to me on Instagram. That's the easiest place for me to get, to see it. I don't mind to help. I don't mind to give you some advice. I don't know it all, but I know a lot. And I think I can be a valuable resource. Just do not message me 17 times at 2 a.m. in the morning. Somebody did that. Not cool, bro.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. Let me say hello to a few people in the chat real quick. The ATL Flipper is here. I wanted to give him a shout out. I wanted to give a shout out to TJ. I wanted to give a shout out to Roman. Anytime Picker was in the chat. Kevin Vasquez Reyes is here hanging out with us. The Flipping Accountant says, I got to go record some voiceover. Have a great night, everyone. Hit the like button. I think he said he's going on vacation. So I wanted to thank Flipping Accountant for hanging out with us tonight. LKL Graphics Keith is here. And the Selling Sniper was here hanging out with us today. And anybody else in the chat that I missed. So thank everybody for coming by and hanging out. Go subscribe to our guests. All the links are going to be down below. YouTube and Instagram. He just hit 350 subscribers. I subscribed to your channel a week or so ago, and you're gonna do well. You're gonna take off. Just like I said, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. It's just going to take time. So, do you have any words of wisdom or any final thoughts you can leave our audience with?
Reselling is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life, because it's the most rewarding. And I really believe that. Like, there are days when I'm prepping and doing I don't use a prep center. Somebody asked that earlier. I think it was
Kevin.
Yeah. I do not use I prep everything myself. So if it needs to be poly bag, wrapped, so on and so forth. And there are days I'll look at it and I'm like, no, I don't even want to mess with any of you in your silly boxes and your silly things that you need to have done to you. And then, I just put my nose to the grindstone and get it done, because that's the mentality I have to keep, because that's how you make money, is by just grinding it out. And at the end, I'm like, man, that wasn't that bad. Your worst enemy. So just, if it feels tough and it feels rough, you're doing it good, and keep doing it and do it more and bigger over and over and over again.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us today, guys. I have Joey Bada Bing 22. The local mailman is going to be here tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So if you guys want to come by and hang out with us, it's going to be 4 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to grill him and ask him 99 questions about him and his life and everything. So it's going to be great. So I'll see you tomorrow. Go follow our guest here, Big Cheese Thrifts. All the links are down below in the description. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you on the next one. Till then, you guys have a great night. Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye.